Today we're talking about working with the project editor. So we're going to go through the steps of creating a new project, and we're going to go over the most common functions within the project editor. So let's get started. There's more than one way to start a new project. You can click New Project here from the home page, or you can go to Start, Projects, New Project. This will open up, either way you do it, will open up the new project wizard. So basically this is going to take you through a series of steps to set up your client information, the locations you'll be working, the systems, contact information, taxes. So a lot of these things can be set up prior to the project being created, or you can set it all up after the fact. So let's go ahead and choose a client. I'm just going to grab Acme Insurance. So in here you can type a project name, or you can let it auto-generate according to your settings in the control panel. So I'm going to just, not the project name, excuse me, project name you have to type. Project number is what I was referring to. It will auto-create according to your settings. So this project, we're going to just say home theater. All right. So project number will auto-generate, like I said, according to your settings. Client number is basically a number that you would assign to your client if you want to. This is an optional field. Progress, I'm going to leave it as estimating, but you can manage these here if you want to. Maybe you call your progresses, different names. You can go here to manage project progresses. Okay. Price types. I have 3 price types set up, but you can have up to 12 set up. This will basically tell the project what price type to use for the items as you add them to the project from the catalog. You can manage the price types from here. Assign to. This is where you would assign the project to a user. These are users that are entered into DTools. Excuse me, start date, start and end date. You don't have to enter this information. This is also optional. But if you know it, you can go ahead and enter that. Contact information is going to be populated automatically according to the client that you select. Or you can create a new contact from here, from client contacts, from contacts, and from Outlook. Same thing with a client. You can create a new client from Outlook and from QuickBooks. All right, so let's go to the next step. So as you can see, the Save button has activated. So none of these steps after this point is required. So it's up to you. But I'm going to go through all the steps just so you can see the whole process. All right, so the addresses are populated automatically according to the client information that you have entered. Same thing with the billing address. For that client, if you have a billing address entered, it will populate automatically. Step 4 is to define a price rule. Now, you can set a price rule for every product that you add to this project. So maybe this will be helpful if you want to do a automatic margin of 20%. You could set that here in a price rule. By default, it's set to not apply price rule, but you can do this on a per project basis. Excuse me. For instance, if you want the margin to be set automatically to 20%, you just go ahead and set that 20% margin. So every time you drop a product into this project, the margin will be adjusted automatically. All right, here's taxes. You have the ability to select from the taxes that you have set up in your system. You can go into Manage Taxes to add taxes. So looks like I don't have anything in here, so I'm going to set up a new tax. I'm just going to say, so Georgia, let's say the tax rate is going to be 7%. We can set that. So now this will be available when I select from my list. If there's labor tax, you can do the same thing, but usually this will show. I don't have anything set up, so obviously there's nothing there until I added it. So you can do this after the fact as well. None of these settings are permanent. You can change them within the project. These are the assigned resources. You can add more by clicking the Assign button and choosing from the users that you have added to DTools. Now, if there's a user not there, you can also manage that from here by clicking on New User, set them up. Okay. So I'm going to leave that to Jane. The next step is to enter contact information. So maybe there's an additional contact. You can add that person here. You can create a new one or from Contacts or Outlook. Step 8 is where you enter the scope of work. So this makes it so much easier to set it up beforehand. So you've got it rolling. Maybe you want to assign the project to another user. Everything's there and ready for them. All right, so you can do snippets. I do have a snippet here. So this is the scope of work that I've added as a snippet. I'm going to insert my snippet. All right, you can check spelling and also update case. All right, so here's where you define your locations. So depending on the type of project you're working on, you might have just a handful or you might have a ton. The good thing is you can add locations that are already in the system. So some of these locations are included when you receive DTools, but you can also add to this from the control panel. And these would be available. So the most common used locations will be available every time you create a new project. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a few of these. All right. All right, so I'm going to grab a few of these, add and close. Now, you can also add some sub-locations. So your main location is main house. You can do a sub-location, first floor. Okay, so you can work from there. Now, you'll notice as I select a location on the right-hand side, we've got some additional information about that location. Now, we have a name, we have an abbreviation, and here's the group. You can actually, the new location I've added, I can put this in the group floor. So it's just to better organize your locations as you're adding them to the group. There's also a description section where you can add some details about that particular location or what your intentions are for that location. And this information will show up on reports. So if you're running a report by location, the description will show on the report. So, all right. The next step is to add systems. So the same thing goes with the systems as far as a set amount of systems available when you get the software. So these are the defaults. You can add to this, like I said, in the control panel. And those systems will be available every time you create a new project. So I'm going to select AV system and security system. Maybe IT system too. All right. Add and close. Same thing. As you select, a system, you've got a name, abbreviation, and description that you can add. If you run a report by system, the description will show on that report. Okay. These are the contract payments. The contract payments, there's some flexibility here. You can actually type in a amount, fixed amount, in addition to a percentage. So maybe you have a set initial deposit of $1,000 regardless of the project, but then the rest of the payments you want in a percentage. So let's go ahead and make an adjustment. Oops. All right, so you can set up your contract payments accordingly. So as you build the project, it'll take the total and fill in these billing amounts accordingly. You can also set the billing dates here when they're due. Okay. All right, and here are the custom fields. So all of our projects and items in the tools will have custom fields. There are a total of 14 custom fields. For these first 8, I think the character limit is about 140. These are a little bit higher down here. Custom field 9 and 10, I believe, is about 2,000 characters. I'm not really sure about that, but there's quite a bit you can do here. As you can see, I do have a custom field that I've actually named. If you click on the Manage Custom Fields, you can give them a proper name. Okay. And that's the final step. So there are 12 steps, really simple, pretty straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And what it'll do is create the project, check it in, and then check it out. So this project now exists on the server. Excuse me. This project now exists on the server. It's checked out to me, the user. No one else can modify it while I have it in my possession. All right, so I'm going to go over some of the basic functions, the most common used ones. So on the Home tab, you see there's quite a bit you can do here. You can change your view. There's filters. You can add products, labor, and packages. You can create new products and labor. Packages as well. You can create, add to a new or existing package. You can edit, delete, clone items in a project. Any changes you make, you might want to refresh your screen. Information. This is where all the information we just filled out resides in the project. Okay. There is scope of work, the scope of work that I inserted with the snippet. Comments. There's also a comments section. So as you add comments, there's a date on them. So as everyone works within the project, they can add a comment. There's history of when the project was checked in and checked out and what was changed. There's a mobile quote link. So maybe you have created a project, a quote with mobile quote app. You can link this project to it. Update from tasks. This will allow you to update information from a task into this project, and tasks are covered in the scheduling webinar. And here's some research tools. You can search the web. Tools, I'm not going to go over every single item here. There's quite a bit you can do, as you can see. You can replace items. That's one of the most common used features here. Mass update, price rules. You'll see accessories and alternates highlighted. Some of these highlight according to what the items are and what you have selected within the project, as you'll see. There's an assign button. There's some exporting tools here. And there's a bulk update ability to where you can export your items to a spreadsheet, update them, and bring them back. All right, catalog, update to and from and to your catalog. There's layouts. This will allow you to change the way the columns appear in the project grid. There's group by. You can actually group all of your items. There's a QuickBooks tab. We integrate with QuickBooks. So if you have the QuickBooks integration installed, if you have QuickBooks installed, excuse me, the integration will work through here. That's a different webinar. That's the QuickBooks webinar. Reports, you can run your reports from within the project, and their settings. So all of these settings except these two are for the project only. All right, so let's get started with adding products. So there's more than one way to do that. You can add products from here, or you can use the explorers over here. So there's Product Explorer, Labor Explorer, and Package Explorer. So anything you add from here and here come from your catalog. So these are items that exist currently in your database. So let's do it from here. Now the Add Products screen will allow you to select the products that you want and assign them to locations and systems at the same time. You can also change the quantity of the items that you want to add, and you can filter out certain items. So you can also search for those items. All right, so I'm looking for a projector. So I'm going to grab this item. I'm going to assign it. Location and system, add and close. So as you add items, they will line up in the grid. I have my items grouped by system. So let's see, maybe I want to group them by location. So you'll see here it'll display DIN and pricing information. All right, so let's get some more products in here. I'm going to do it this way from the Product Explorer. So now, let's take a look at, and I'm going to expand this a little bit so you can see more information. So depending on, what works for you, sorry, I'm looking for the same item. Okay, so depending on what works for you, we can do this more than one way. So this particular item I want to add to my project. What I'm going to do first, though, is select the location and select the system. Go back to Product Explorer and drag and drop. So it really depends on what's comfortable for you. There's more than one way to do it. So we've got these items added here. I have them grouped by location. You can also add your labor and your packages from the Product Explorer and, of course, from the Home tab. So let's go ahead and add a package. Well, I'll add labor next, excuse me. Let's go ahead and add the labor. Now, the labor items are going to appear in the list just as if they were a product. All right, so that's what a labor item looks like in the project. And let's do add a package. So packages basically allow you to group products together and to be able to set a price for that package. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to grab this 4-port media plate. I'm going to take a look at the items here. Now, if you add packages through this Add Packages button that I used here, you have the ability to include or not particular items. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility when you're adding your packages to your project. So I'm going to take this one off, for example. Now, as you'll see in this package, your totals here, you've got your base price and your net price. You can actually type in here as well. There's additional flexibility when it comes to using this way. So it'll adjust accordingly. I'm going to add and close. It'll prompt me for head-in and wire length. And this is what the packages looks like. So you'll see the package name, how many items are in that package, and the total installation price for the package. Okay. All right. So let's say that you want to, you have to make a change to more than one item here. I think I'll add a few more items before we do that. I'm just going to grab some items here. Oh wait, I want to assign them. So let's say grab these, drag and drop, prompting for accessories. And all of these are set, this prompt for accessories is set in the project settings. All right, so here are all my items. And what if I need to make a change to more than one item at a time? So for example, I need to change some pricing on these two products. Instead of opening the item and going to the price for each one of these to say, oh, okay, I don't want to charge $43.75. Maybe I want to up the price to $4,500. You'll notice that my margin and markup will change automatically, but you don't have to go into each item to do this. Instead, you select both items, go to Tools, Mass Update, Products. Okay. So then you can say, all right, so I want my unit price for those items to be changed to $4,500. You get a confirmation for those items and how many. And this window will stay open until you're done updating those items. So now when you go back into those products, price is updated. So Mass Update is a really great tool to use when you're changing multiple items. Okay. All right, so let's see. All right. So what if you want to replace an item? You can also do the same thing. So instead of this Samsung item, I want to bring in a different brand. Same LED, but I want a different brand. You can go to Replace Products. You can do a search, or you can filter. So instead, let's do a filter. To quickly filter out all of the items that do not have the category of display devices. So instead of this one, I'm going to do this item. So when you do a replace, it's always going to ask you if you want to include all of the accessories, add and close. And then if any of those accessories have wire, it'll prompt you for head-in and wire length. This is all in the project settings as well. There you are. So my item has been replaced with its accessories. Okay. So another thing that you can do, I want to talk about the layouts here. You can, if you don't want to show all of your accessories here, as you can see, I have everything expanded. You can go here to the Layouts tab and hide your accessories. So what it'll do is automatically collapse all accessories in the grid. Okay. All right. Also, you can collapse all screens, all of these items by right-clicking and do collapse all. You can also collapse all accessories from this right-click menu as well. Makes it a little bit easier to find the location that you need. Okay. Then, of course, you can expand all. Also, another helpful tool is to be able to type directly into the grid. So, for instance, if you want to modify manually your component ID, you're able to do so. So, even with your pricing as well. So, if I change my layout, oh, I didn't change it. Hello, sorry, I typed and it didn't do anything. Sorry about that. All right. So I can change some of these fields right directly in the grid. All right. Including your unit cost and unit price, margin and markup, you can change it. So if you click anywhere in the grid and it gives you the ability to flash and cursor, you can modify it. Okay. All right. So let's go to catalog. All right. So if you create items from scratch within the project, and you want to add that to the catalog for everybody to use, you could do that with the update from and to. So let's do that. Let's first go ahead and create an item, new product. All right. So the details of how to create a new product is in the working with the Product Explorer webinar. I'm going to just grab manufacturer. So I'm going to create this item. So you're working, I'm not going to do a subcategory, okay? I'm going to put a description. All right. All right, so once I'm done creating my product, and this can happen all the time, you can actually download a product as well. I'll show you that also in this webinar. Download a product and it's not in your catalog. Actually, let's go ahead and update to. All right, so when you do the update products to catalog, it's going to show you items that exist. And I'm sorry, excuse me, I did that backwards. Items that do not exist and items that do exist. So basically, when you update to catalog, it's checking for changes in all the fields, the price. Maybe you've changed the phase that you've assigned. Maybe you've changed accessories. You can update that information to the catalog. So here are the fields you can select, okay? And you can just select what fields you want to send to the catalog. Even with accessories, you can append, you can overwrite, or ignore accessories. All right, so once you do the update, this item will be sent to the catalog. And let me show you. All right. Let's do a search. And there it is. This item that we added in our project now exists in the catalog. Pretty handy tool. Okay. All right. So let's talk about downloading. So the data browser, I believe this is covered when we're in our Product Explorer webinar, but downloading from the data browser will add this to your catalog. I think I misspoke earlier. I said it wouldn't be, but every time you download from the data browser, it'll be in your catalog. So you can actually do this from the catalog, or you can do this from a project. So I wanted to show you that as well. I'm not going to go through that because all the details of downloading is covered in our catalog webinar. Okay. All right. So let's see. The next thing I want to talk about is just general manipulating your items. You can actually copy and paste. So for instance, see these items, you can copy and paste. All right, so you can copy and paste items. You can clone items. Let's talk about that. So for this item and all of its accessories, you can clone it, and you have some options here. You can clone 1. You can clone 10 if you want to. So I'm going to do 2. You have the option to keep your clone items in the same location and system. If you uncheck these, you'll be given the option to choose where you want those items to go. You also have the option to, I'm going to add these to, clone these to the bar. You also have the option to clone child items. So any accessory and alternate package items you can clone as a parent item. You can clone within an existing package, so those items would be part of the existing package or parent item. Or you can clone the complete package or parent item. All right. So I would do this in this case. Click OK. And there it is. And I'm going to change our view back to general so you can see the assignment. I changed the location, but I kept the system. Okay. And I kept everything. Oops, sorry about that. So I kept all the accessories as well. All right. So you can, of course, delete items. You can do that from here. Also, clone is here as well, but I like to use the right-click menu. So the good thing about SI 2015 is that there's more than one way to do it. So it's based on what's comfortable for you. All right. Now, when you're working with items that have accessories and you delete them, the accessories will be deleted with that parent item. So I'm going to delete this 22-inch display. And I'm going to get a prompt here. It says, are you sure you wish to delete the following items? Deleting a product will delete all accessories and alternates. So if you have any accessories and alternates on this product, it'll be gone with it. Boom. Okay. So there's quite a bit you can do here. let's talk about that right-click menu again. So most of the, well, I won't say most, but a lot of the most used features are in this right-click menu. Add from catalog, add to package, of course, copy and paste and clone was there, refresh, replacing your items. We talked about that. Mass update. Now, the good thing about mass update, depending on where you right-clicked in the grid, you'll have the opportunity to choose that column that you've right-clicked in. So this time I right-clicked in the category column, I have the option to mass update category. Mass update, you can do your price rules from here. You can do your assignments. You can regenerate your component IDs. So if you make a change to your component IDs, you can regenerate those numbers. Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment. Compare with catalog and update to from. They're here as well. All right, so let's talk about component ID. Now, I showed you earlier that you're able to type directly into the grid to manually change the component ID. Now, of course, within the product, oops, let me double click here. Within the product, this is a field here that you can also, of course, type in. And this format is set in your settings. So once you've made a change to your component ID format, so my format includes the field subcategory. I can change this. Maybe I want to change it to category. I have a length of 3. So as you make your selections, your preview will be here. All right. You can also do text. So whatever you want, you can actually have all of these fields show up here. So I am going to turn it back to field, category. But anyway, as I change this, so for instance, I'm going to say I want the length to be 4 instead. Oops. Let me delete this one. All right. So I want this to be 4. Now you'll see my preview. It'll take the first 4 characters of the category and add the number. Okay. You can change the separator. You can actually type in the separator as well if you want to. So what if I want to asterisk there? You can put that there. All right. So anyway, I just want to show you. Make a change. Save and close. Now, I want to regenerate my component IDs for all of my items. You can hit Control-A to select all of your items. Go to Tools, Regenerate Component ID. And now you'll see here, according to the settings I have there, the change. Let's take a look there. Okay. All right then. So the last thing I want to talk about before I close out this webinar is reporting. So the reports are covered in details in our reporting webinar. However, I just want to show you what your proposal will look like when you run a report. So some of these reports you see are custom reports. I'm going to run a proposal with images by location. All right. So this is what your report looks like, and this is what your items will look like. So all unassigned items, which I have 2 of, will show first. You've got, depending on your report parameters, and that's also covered in the reporting webinar, you'll see your pricing for your items and the description and your subtotals. So basically, this is what the proposal looks like after you're done with your items. All right, so that is pretty much it today. We have some detailed information on our support site about working with the project editor, and thanks for coming.